Okay, here's the plan. You go along to the front, and I'll come around to the back. And on our cue, we'll shoot together, and we'll bag us a leopard shark. What do you think? Well, that was the plan. My friend Glenn Peck and I had decided that we were going to have a leopard shark for dinner. We had been spearfishing along the edge of this one rocky outcropping in Santa Barbara, California. And we had come to a sandy spot where we had found a school of a dozen or so leopard sharks feeding. Now, leopard sharks are about 5 feet long. They're very sharkish in appearance. They have long, slender bodies with a tapered tail. They have a beautiful mottled pattern on their skin, which gives them that leopard appearance. And we had decided that we were having no luck at all, as usual, with any other fish. We had decided that we were going to work as a team together and catch us a leopard shark. So we had come up with a plan. Now, we didn't have our big Rife spear guns with us. Otherwise, the job would have been quite easy. Instead, we had our little pole spears, which we used for inshore fishing. And the spears were basically consist of long fiberglass shafts with a big elastic band on one end, on the rear end, and you use that as energy for the spear. And then on the business end of the spear, we had prongs or tridents that we would use to catch the fish. And now the way that these spears worked is you held the spear in the shaft in your hand like this. You put the elastic cord through your thumb, around your thumb like this, and you pulled up on the shaft so that you engaged the elastic. It then had all stretched out to its max, and then you aimed the spear, the business end, at the target, and to release the spear gun, you simply opened your fist a little bit. And that allowed the shaft to shoot out, and you caught a fish. And like I said, we had different types of prongs on our fish and our spears. Glenn, that day, I believe he had a single shaft jobber, which kind of disengaged on the front and could use to catch the fish. And I had a trident, which was good for catching the meat of the fish right in the body. Perfect combination for our plan, our scheme. And here was the idea. Glenn was going to use his nice target shaft, his nice prong, to go for a kill shot at the head. The goal was to sever the spinal cord of the shark, rendering it, basically killing it instantly. And I would use my trident to make a body shot, catch right into that meat of that shot in case it didn't die right away. We could then have a good firm attachment to the animal. And we had made our plan, and we were all ready to go, put our masks back on, went back underwater, and we were coursing along after our shark. Glenn went away up to the front. I went back to the back. We saw our target ahead. Moved in slowly. The shark was just moving along gently. And on cue, we shot together. Patoom! Patoom! Glenn's spear went in, mine went shooting down, and the next thing I know, I'm flying through the water, zipping along, being drugged by the rubber elastic of my spear. Apparently Glenn's shot had gone in, but hadn't stayed in when the shark took off. But my nice trident had made a nice secure hold in the meat of the animal, and I was being drugged through the water as it swam. This big 5-foot animal. I mean, it's pretty big. It's taking off through the water, and I'm going along up and down, across, over the rocks and the like, and the water's coming through. And the next thing I know, I see stars, and I stop. And literally just stars, just like you imagine. And I think I'm just about to pass out, black out. As I'm sitting there, I'm stopped completely. What had happened was, my spear was at the end of that elastic, fully stretched out. Remember that elastic? I'm holding on to the elastic cord. The shark is taking off. My pole spear is way out there. I'm holding on to the elastic. Straight angle. Suddenly, the spear disengages from the shark's body and flies back with all the force of that elastic, and comes back straight back in the little blunt end of that fiberglass shaft, hits me right in the forehead. Shoo, bam! And I'm seeing stars. It almost knocked me out. And I don't realize what's happening. I'm disoriented. I'm 5 feet underwater. I'm holding on to my shaft, and I come slowly drifting back to the surface, pop my head up. What the heck? And off in the distance, there's Glenn. Now that shark had drugged me across the bottom, up and over, along and through, until it had, nearly knocked me out when that shaft came undone. To this day, I feel terrible about that story. one of the things that turned me off about spearfishing was the fact that I was so poor at it, and that such a high percentage of the time I would lose game fish, and in probably almost all cases, those fish that I had hit would die from the wounds that I had caused. I hated that aspect of it. And it was fun to spearfish, and it was fun to catch things, and it was fun to have a nice barbecue afterwards. But my high failure rate was a cause of concern. And I think that it was shortly after that experience that I hung up my spears for good. I felt really bad about inflicting possibly mortal wounds on that shark. It made for an interesting story, hopefully you enjoyed hearing that, and perhaps a cautionary tale about not taking on more than one can handle, and the possible ramifications of doing so. So there you go, my shark attack story in reverse. Glenn Peck and I going after a leopard shark. Okay, well, it's time for me to go after work. See y'all later. Take care.